Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something maybe closer to home than usual. The house cat. Beloved pet, but also maybe a bit of a hidden menace.
That's a good way to put it. It's this strange paradox, isn't it? This creature we adore, but one that has well, a pretty significant ecological footprint.
Significant feels like an understatement when you hear the numbers.
It really does. Let's just start with the big one. Researchers estimate cats kill somewhere around 2.4 billion birds every single year, and that's just in the United States.
2.4 billion, that's hard to even picture. That puts cats way up there as a cause of bird deaths, right? More than buildings or habitat loss even.
In many cases, yes, they're a leading cause. So if you let your cat roam freely, and look, many people do, you might unknowingly be, well, part of this larger issue.
And we need to understand why. Why do they do this? It's instinct, isn't it?
Absolutely. We have to remember, cats haven't been domesticated nearly as long as dogs. Maybe 10,000 years for cats versus, say, 30,000 for dogs.
Ah, okay. So that wild hunter is still very much right there under the surface.
Exactly. That programming is still incredibly strong.
So today we're diving into this. The real cost of letting cats roam, what researchers have actually seen them do, and importantly, what we can do about it, both personally and maybe at a city level.
Right. And one common idea we need to tackle first is this thought, well, my cat's just doing what a fox or a hawk would do anyway. You hear that a lot.
Yeah, like they're just filling a natural predator role.
Yeah.
Is that accurate, though? Does the science back that up?
No, not really. The research is pretty clear on this. A big study back in 2020 found that house cats actually have a much bigger impact, somewhere between 2 and 10 times larger on local wildlife compared to native predators like snakes or, hawks.
Whoa, 2 to 10 times. How? Especially if, like you said, a single cat maybe doesn't wander that far from home.
It's the concentration. Think about a neighborhood. You might have dozens, even hundreds of cats in a relatively small area. An individual cat might only hunt within, say, 100 meters of its house.
Okay, that seems small.
But when you have so many of those small zones overlapping in a residential area, it creates these, well, the researchers called them giant swaths of devastation. There's basically no safe place left for the wildlife.
Right. Relentless pressure. And this isn't just a North American problem, is it? It's global.
Oh, absolutely. Cats have been implicated in the extinction of around 60 vertebrate species worldwide.
60 species gone. And birds are a big part of that.
A huge part. More than half of those extinctions were bird species.
Wow. And we're seeing the effects now, even on common birds.
Definitely. If you look at Canada, for example, the wild bird population has dropped by something like 12% since the 1980s. And it's often the birds we see every day, sparrows, doves, finches, that are showing some of the steepest declines.
And it's not just birds, right? I mean, cats hunt other things too.
Oh, for sure. They're very opportunistic. Snakes, frogs, rabbits, even insects like butterflies. I remember seeing that picture going around, the cat and the butterfly's supposed friends.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
The reality is that butterflies' days were probably numbered. Anything that moves triggers that instinct.
So this loss of birds, it's more than just sad. It actually harms the whole ecosystem.
Precisely. That's the critical part. We need to understand why losing so many birds matters so much ecologically.
Okay, so what's their main role? Why are they so important?
Well, one scientist, Dr. Elizabeth G.A., put it nicely. She called them the essential blue-collar workers of ecosystems.
Blue-collar workers. I like that. What does that mean in practice?
They do a lot of the grunt work. They move seeds around, which is vital for plants. And crucially, they eat tons of insects, massive numbers. They help keep those populations in check.
Okay, so if you take away the birds, insect populations could explode.
Exactly. And that has knock-on effects. More insects mean more damage to trees, to crops, to plants in general. The whole system changes. Forests aren't as healthy. Maybe the air isn't quite as clean because the trees aren't thriving.
It cascades downwards.
Precisely. There's actually a stark historical example of this China in the late 1950s.
You mean the Four Pests campaign? Weren't sparrows one of the pests they targeted?
Yes. The thinking was that sparrows ate too much grain, so people were encouraged to kill them.
But they missed something crucial, didn't they?
They missed the fact that sparrows also ate a huge number of locusts. Without the sparrows, the locust population boomed.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The locusts then wiped out rice crops, and it was a major factor contributing to a terrible famine. It's a harsh lesson in how removing one piece, even one you think is a pest, can destabilize everything.
Wow. Okay, so that really underscores the importance of birds. Which brings us back to the cat owner who says, But my cat doesn't hunt. He never brings anything home.
That's the classic defense. But unfortunately, the evidence suggests otherwise. There was a study, University of Georgia, I think, where they actually tracked cats.
What did they find?
They found that the cats only brought home less than a quarter of the animals they actually killed.
Less than a quarter. So most of the time, the owners have no idea.
Exactly. The cats have this whole secret life out there.
And didn't they try to capture this secret life? I remember reading about a cat named Giorgio. They put a little camera on him.
Yes, that's right. A tiny camera and an air tag. The owner was apparently quite convinced Giorgio was just, hanging out.
And what did the camera show?
It was pretty definitive and quite confronting for the owner, I imagine. Giorgio climbed a tree, went right into a bird's nest,
Oh, dear.
and took what looked like a baby bird and, well, ate it. The footage apparently showed it was still alive.
Oh, that's rough. But scientifically, what was the key takeaway?
The really crucial part was why he was hunting. It clearly wasn't hunger.
How could they tell?
Because Giorgio had eaten right before he went out, and then he ate again as soon as he got home.
So the hunting was just for the sake of hunting.
Pure instinct. That wild programming just taking over, it completely overrides whether they're hungry or not.
And the tracking, did it show anything else about where he went?
It did. It showed he traveled super far, apparently right up to a major street, which highlights another point. Letting cats roam isn't just bad for wildlife, it's risky for the cats themselves.
Right. Cars, predators,
Yeah.
other cats. It's dangerous out there.
Absolutely. So when we talk about solutions, it's really about finding what's best for both wildlife and our pets.
And the data seems to point towards keeping them indoors, doesn't it?
It strongly suggests that. Taking Canada again, estimates are that if pet cats were kept inside, it could save potentially 200 million birds every year.
200 million birds a year just from that one change.
Yeah.
And it's safe for the cats too, right? You mentioned the dangers.
Immensely safer. Studies show indoor cats live significantly longer, often over 10 years longer than cats that go outdoors.
10 years is a huge difference.
It is, and they avoid roads, fights, poisons like rat bait that might be left out.
Yeah.
Plus, the disease risk drops dramatically. Outdoor cats are almost 3 times more likely to pick up parasites.
Yeah. And serious diseases too.
Yes, things like toxoplasmosis, feline leukemia, FIV, which is like feline HIV, and they can potentially spread these to wild cat populations too, like bobcats or cougars, which are already under pressure.
Okay, so keeping them inside is safer for everyone. But then the challenge is making sure they're happy indoors, right? They still have those instincts.
That's the key. Enrichment. It's totally doable.
Uh,
Think catios, those enclosed patios for cats. Or cat-proof fencing for a safe backyard space. Even leash training works for some cats.
and inside the house.
Lots you can do. Window perches are great. Cat trees give them height. And interactive toys, things that mimic hunting like feather wands or laser pointers used properly, can help satisfy that drive safely.
Makes sense. What about bigger picture solutions, like at a city level,
Yeah.
especially dealing with feral cats?
Yeah, that's a huge challenge. Organizations like Nature Canada have this bird-friendly city program. It encourages cities to do things like reduce pesticides, use bird-safe building designs.
And does it address cats?
It does. To get the highest level of certification, a city actually needs to have a no-roam bylaw for cats.
A no-roam bylaw.
Okay.
And how does that tie into managing the cats already out there, the feral ones?
Oh, that's where things get complicated. Dr. Gier's research in Quebec used trail cameras, which is clever. They counted wandering cats to figure out where the hotspots were.
To target efforts?
Exactly, so they could focus things like free spay-neuter programs in areas that needed them most. Maybe lower-income areas where cost is a barrier.
Which leads us to TNR, Trap-Neuter-Release.
Right. This is often done by dedicated volunteers. Groups like Annex Cat Rescue were mentioned. They go out, often at odd hours, trap feral cats humanely.
Get them fixed, vaccinated, ear-tipped for identification.
Correct. And then, depending on the cat's temperament, they're either rehomed if possible or released back into their territory where they were trapped.
But TNR is controversial, isn't it?
Highly. We have to acknowledge that. The main criticism is that even a neutered cat still hunts. So releasing them back outside doesn't solve the wildlife predation problem.
They just can't reproduce.
Right. And the effectiveness of TNR for population control itself is debated. The research suggests you need to sterilize a very, very high percentage of the cats in an area like well over 90–95% for it to really reduce numbers long term.
And that's incredibly hard to achieve.
Extremely difficult. Cats move around, new ones arrive. It takes immense resources, time, and manpower consistently over large areas. It's a huge logistical challenge.
So ultimately, it sounds like this is a conflict we've created. Our desire for pets bumping up against the needs of the ecosystem.
That's really it. We domesticated cats, we brought them into these environments. So the responsibility falls on us to manage the impact.
And that means maybe rethinking the traditional idea of letting cats roam freely.
I think it does. But it's crucial to understand that a cat can be perfectly happy and fulfilled indoors. We just need to put in the effort to make their indoor world stimulating.
And things like fostering or adopting from shelters helps too, right? Gets cats off the streets.
Definitely. That's a huge part of the solution, preventing more cats from ending up in that outdoor cycle in the first place.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is, it's not about blaming the cats. They're just being cats, doing what their instincts tell them.
Exactly. They aren't malicious. They're just incredibly good predators. We've put them in a situation where that instinct, unchecked by us, causes significant harm to ecosystems that have their own natural predators and balances already in place. The solution has to come from our actions, our responsibility.
Changing their environment,
True.
essentially, for their safety and for the health of the wildlife just outside our doors. A lot to think about there.